So this is the $800 German ship box I dragged home. It's a '02 Jetta with the 1.9 diesel in it. 209,000 miles on it. It's obviously not the best deal out there, but these 1.9s they're pretty in demand, that's for sure. But kind of some big news on my end. Unfortunately, this thing's not going to fit in the Derp ATV, at least not in the as-is condition. I thought I could make it fit, but once I actually started looking at this thing and doing some legit measurements, because before that, it was just going off of pictures on the internet and what people are saying on the forums, and you know how those forums can get. It's not the most reliable information. But pretty much what I got going on is the original configuration was this would be the back end of the Derp ATV. That would be the front end of the Derp ATV. So basically, your differential housings over here, and then your rearward drive shaft, which would go to my GAZ 71 differential. It's basically the offset is too great where my drive shaft will end up slamming into the block, so there's obviously interference there. So really the only way to make it work would be to cobble up a chain drive system to offset that drive line, which I'm not going to piss with that. That's just a lot of, dinking around. So what I'll probably end up doing after I drive this thing in the wintertime is I got a track rig I'm in the design stages of. So this will probably what this will end up going into is another tracked rig. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing there. But that's how these innovation things go. You don't always get it right the first time. So regarding the Derp ATV, for the wintertime, I'm gonna do a little horse trading. But I got a buddy who's got a Harbor Freight V twin. The 22 horse little guys. It's gonna be a little underpowered, but I'm just gonna pretty much double shiv that up with a belt drive to a 5-speed manual transmission and call it a day. I'll cobble up some plates and stuff, so I'll end up using the clutches and pressure plate off the automotive side, so it won't be a slipping V-bolt clutch. It'll be a legit, plate clutch. But that's probably how the Derp will end up going this winter. Like I said, a little disappointing, but it's alright. It's all good. We live and we learn. But kind of going over the quirks of this rig. I know this is not much of an automotive channel, but there's just really two big issues I got going on. It's really hard to start when you let it sit for a while. It's a fuel delivery issue, obviously, but you can crank it for like 20 seconds and then she'll start the fire after that. And when she does fire, she's spewing a whole bunch of white diesel smoke. So it's obviously a fuel delivery issue. I thought at first it was the pickup screen, but the pickup screen on the tank is fine. Then I thought it was this guy, the filter, but I changed that out. That's all good. But so I think the last thing I need to check is if I can get that diagnostic system, I can see how much fuel is getting metered out to these injectors. Because if it's too much, then that definitely could be the issue. Because I know sometimes these things go out of whack, and you gotta loosen these things up and tap them a bit to get them to go to the correct milliliters, I guess, for each injector. But I did end up changing the timing belt and the water pump. Funny thing is, I bought a new kit, and then when I went into the trunk, actually it was this morning, at the bottom of the box, there was a brand new, it was a Chinese off-brand kit, but basically a timing belt kit and a water pump in there. But that's alright, I put a nice Continental belt and pump in there, so I'm not too worried about that. Plus, I got another one anyways if I ever get another 1.9. So I got that changed out. I pretty much did a flush on the coolant and the oil. I haven't replaced the transmission fluid yet. This is an automatic transmission, so there's obviously two reservoirs you got to change, your tranny fluid and then your differential fluid. And I end up changing the battery too to the big boy here. And that kind of leads me on to the other problem with this machine, which is there's a parasitic power loss going on, which I'm assuming is coming from the chassis, because that's kind of, Volkswagen's kind of notorious for that kind of stuff. So until I get my clamp meter in, I'm going to get one of those clamp meters. I've always needed one of those anyways to see how much current I'm getting drawn into my main fuse panel. So that'll be interesting how that goes. But overall, the stout motor is just disappointing. I can't put it in the Derp ATV because of that whole, interference issue going on with my drive shaft. You could flip it over, but then it would spin the wrong way. It's Really the only way to do it would be to have a chain case, but I'm not going to dick with that. So, yeah, I'll start her up. I mean, it's just your standard VW19. I mean, $800 isn't the best deal out there, but especially if it's got 209,000 on it. But these things they're kind of in high demand. I'm not gonna lie, they go fast. I got lucky that I was actually on the way to some family's place, and this guy had this thing for sale. Like I said, it is an automatic transmission, so that kind of makes it less valuable from the TDI world. But the reason why I went with the automatic was for off-highway purposes. What I learned from the Derp ATV is just a lot easier to manage the operation of the machine with an automatic, because you're already dealing with, you know, levers and shit. It just makes it easier to operate. Guess we'll go for a little test drive here. I mean, overall the vehicle works pretty good. There's a check engine light on. I don't have my OBD2 scanner. I actually lent that to a friend. When I get that back, he'll see what's going on there. Maybe it has to do with my fuel issue. You hear the sound of that turbo. Kind of reminds me of my old 7.3 that I got too. Plus, it was kind of nice too. This is my first car with heated seats. This will definitely be a good winter beater. So, that's basically that. I'm not going to bore you any longer, but that's just kind of a status update I got going on. I do have a TDI now, but unfortunately it's just too big. So, that's alright. I'll adapt. It might be a little underpowered, but the Derp will move. No doubt about it.